This is going to be gameplay of the Ocarina of Time Majora's Mask cross-game randomizer. Seed used in this gameplay is generated using the beginner preset settings on the OoTxMM website. For this preset, I would recommend that you have at least decent knowledge of the vanilla games. At the very least, knowing how to do what would be considered 100%, knowing heart piece locations, gold scatolas, grotto locations, and any chests, as well as most rewards from NPCs. The goal of the beginner preset is going to be defeating both the endgame bosses of each game, Ganon and Majora. The beginner preset will choose randomly whether you begin as child or adult. However, since Door of Time is open in this preset, you will pretty much have access to either one once you reach Temple of Time. Child Link's default spawn point will be within Link's house in Kokiri Forest, while adult Link's default spawn point will be in Temple of Time. Approaching the Master Sword pedestal as adult for the first time will give you your Light Medallion reward, while approaching it the first time as Child Link will give you your Master Sword reward. To switch between Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, you will enter the Happy Mask Shop in the Market of Hyrule. This will take you to the base of the Clock Tower in South Clock Town. The first time that you enter the South Clock Town from the base of Clock Tower, you will receive the Song of Healing reward. The beginner preset uses the Moon Crash behavior option, or last save. This means that if the moon crashes, you will be reset to the last time you saved in Majora's Mask. Running a seed under this option, it is within logic to avoid entering Majora's Mask until you have the Ocarina of Time for Majora's Mask, as well as the Song of Time for Majora's Mask. If you are not yet in possession of these two items, then you should avoid entering Majora's Mask, as there will be no items for you to collect that will progress the seed. Here I'm entering Laundry Pool to check the Stray Fairy. In this beginner seed, the Stray Fairy is left to its vanilla location, meaning it will be here in the daytime, or at nighttime it will be in East Clock Town. With the Stray Fairy in possession, you'll be able to get 2 rewards from the Great Fairy, one as Child Link, the other as any transformation, meaning Deku, Goron, or Zora. In this case, my Child Link reward for the Great Fairy turn-in was Cafe's Mask. Mido's house in Kokiri Forest is guaranteed to have 4 checks because there are 4 chests in here. Unfortunately, I did not get any good rewards from Mido's house. With access to the Megaton Hammer, I'll be able to open some grottos in Hyrule Field. The beginner preset seed has shared items between OoT and MM. Any item that you can find in either game will be acquired once you find it in either game. In this case, finding the magic upgrade in Ocarina of Time will also grant me magic in Majora's Mask. Here I am writing down notes about the location of the powder keg. Knowing that I do not need it means that I can skip some later checks, including Goron Race, as well as the roof on Icona Castle. Getting access to the bow in both games will be very useful. The hammer is also giving me access to all 3 chests here within the rock maze of Goron City. Great Fairy's Mask may be significant in Majora's Mask dungeons, as there are still some freestanding stray fairies available in this seed, and some of those freestanding fairies are inaccessible without it. Access to the bow at this time is going to be rather fortunate. Most players are familiar with stopping the rolling Goron named after your character, using usually bombs or bomb chews. However, using the bow, you can shoot the bomb flowers that he rolls next to stop him. This will also grant you access to his reward and opening all the doors in Goron City. I'm going to have to come back later for this once I have a wallet that can store 200 rupees. The beginner preset puts songs in their locations that you would find them in the vanilla game. Here I'm going to do the Song of Storms check that you would normally do as an adult in the vanilla game to get storms. In this case, I've been given Oath to Order. In this seed, Oath to Order is going to be required to get access to the moon and defeat Majora. Stopping by the graveyard real quick, I'm going to check some of the available graves. The grave that normally grants you a Hylian shield granted me my adult wallet. It's fortunate that I got this, since I did need to go back to Goron and Goron City to buy the bomb chew bag so I could get access to explosives. Also stepped by Gridampe's grave in order to do the quick race with him. Completing the race in under 1 minute gets you both rewards, the heart piece reward as well as the hookshot chest. I should have known, based on a hint I got earlier, that this powder keg was, of course, a trap. Stone Mask is not going to be a required item, but it will be convenient in Majora's Mask for some sections of that game. Stopping by the bank to deposit my first 200 rupees will grant me my first reward from the bank. Mask will get me 1 check in Romani's ranch, which is not really a lot, but you never know if it's something you'll need. Stopping by the observatory, you can actually view what the Moon's Tier reward is going to be by looking at the item in the case here. Ice arrows are going to be required to complete Great Bay Temple in Majora's Mask, so it is a good thing that this was found fairly early on. It'll be convenient to at least get one bottle in each game to use for storage. There may be times where you'll need spring water in Majora's Mask, a fish in Ocarina of Time, bugs. You never know which items you'll need to do which checks. Here in Sacred Forest Meadow, we will be doing the Saria Song check. Elegy of Emptiness will be required to get to Stone Tower Temple. Standing on the road next to the sign close to the Castle Market entrance as adult tends to spawn this Big Poe. Typically, I find that they're easier to spawn when you have Epona, but Epona is not required to get these ghosts to show up. Grabbing that Big Poe from Hyrule Field was worth the time, because the boomerang is going to be required to complete Jabu Jabu's Belly. Now returning to Goron City with a full adult wallet will let me purchase the Bomb Chew bag from Medi Goron. I'm going to need these explosives, both MM and OoT. Coincidentally, the bean salesman at Zora's River is selling the vanilla item he would normally sell, the beans for Ocarina of Time. Running a seed with base logic that does not require any tricks or glitches, the player will be expected to obtain the Stone of Agni before they access any of the hidden grottos for items. In this case, since the Stone of Agni is required, I will likely need to go to one of these hidden grottos to find another required item for the seed completion. And so far in this seed, Zora's River has been pretty lucrative. Fairy Slingshot for Child is going to be necessary to finish Deku Tree in this seed. Forgot to check the Kokiri sword chest earlier while I was here. Seeing that it was a yellow chest, I thought I'd be lucky and get my Kokiri sword. But, never mind. Unfortunately for me, the Hot Rodder Goron actually had my Goron mask. Coming back to Lake Hylia as an adult after having planted the magic bean grants me access to the heart piece that would normally be at the top of the lakeside lab. In this case, though, it actually had the first strength upgrade. Turns out the Bremen mask came in handy. It was in fact a required item that led me to the hook shot. Had a bit of a mishap with the well as I was exiting the roof. And access to more beans grants me a nice convenient upgrade for Majora's Mask. Now with the Goron Tunic's access to the crater, I also get another song check here. The Bolero song check. In this seed, Zelda's Lullaby was the reward, which is very nice, as it's probably the most useful song in the run. Entering Fire Temple with the Megaton Hammer already in hand is going to give us access to the boss key loop from the very beginning. And defeating the first Flare Dancer is going to give us access to a couple of chests, both of which ended up having small keys. The beginner preset has the keys randomized in their own dungeons, so you will only find the Fire Temple keys within Fire Temple. In the North Jail in the Fire Temple maze, Ruto's letter was found. This will be needed to move Zora King out of his position to give us access to Zora Fountain. This is going to be my first roadblock in Fire Temple. Without access to more small keys, I'm going to be expected to have hover boots to complete the rest of the dungeon. I will need hover boots for the entrance of this large room in order to run across to the pillar and then the other side to get to the hammer chest and open the inner jail from outside. With Ruto's letter being found in Fire Temple, I'm going to have access to Zora's Fountain, which gives me access to 2 more dungeons. This will be Ice Cavern as adult and Jabu Jabu's Belly as child. Fortunately, nothing of value was found in Jabu Jabu's Belly so far. However, we do have a required item here for the boss reward. Quickest way to deal with Big Octo is to allow him to hit you with his first attack. This will cause him to rotate, showing his back immediately. And a single jump attack with a deck stick will kill him. I've left Jabu Jabu early to go ahead and check Ice Cavern for Adult, because we'll have more checks and a song here. I will be returning to Jabu Jabu later for the medallion reward. The heart piece in Red Ice is the Mirror Shield. I had received a hint earlier from a Gossip Stone about Mirror Shield being here in this dungeon. Receiving both parts of Goron Lullaby will be necessary in order to enter Snowhead Temple in Majora's Mask. Now with access to Goron Mask and the Goron Lullaby intro, we will be able to put the crying Goron to sleep, and this will get us another song. Base Logic Seas will expect the player to have access to opponent in order to reach Great Bay Coast and Iconic Canyon, just like in the vanilla game from Majora's Mask. Third day chest in South Clocktown granted me fire arrows. These will be necessary to complete Snowhead Temple, as well as parts of Great Bay Temple. Unfreezing the Goron Elder and then speaking to him as Goron will grant you another song. You have to speak to him twice. Unfortunately, I received Saria's song, which is probably one of the least useful songs, as it only really gets you 2 checks, I would say. Fire arrows will also grant me access to the smithy. There will be 2 checks tied to here, the first one being the purchase for the Razor Sword upgrade. You will need 100 rupees for that. Second will be having the bottle of gold dust, which was received earlier in the seed. You will have to get your first upgrade done before you can leave, re-enter, and then do the second upgrade. The smithy will not accept both during the same instance you are inside. back to Lake Hylia, now with full access to Water Temple. Entering and saving at Water Temple is where I ended this session, and when I pick the game back up, this is the dungeon I will start in.